Number 15. God's household code. This is Ephesians 5:21 through 6:9. I'm going to read just a few selections at the very end of this part. Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. Wives and husbands, each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Fathers, do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ. And masters, treat your slaves in the same way, since you know that he who is both their master and yours is in heaven, and there is no favoritism with him. You know, if you treat your slave in the same way that you expect the slave to treat you, he's no longer a slave and you're no longer a master. You're equals, you're brothers. And this is the point. In Ephesians, Paul writes, sit, walk, stand is an easy way to think of it. The first 3 chapters, how we're seated in heavenly places. And chapter 4 through 6:9 is how we walk out our Christian life. And then 6:10 to the end, it's about how we stand in the spiritual warfare against the enemy. And this middle part, this walk, the Greek word is peripateo, and it can mean walk or live. It's used 5 times. It's 4:1 is walk worthy of the calling, or live worthy of the calling. And 4:17 is walk not as Gentiles. And 5:1 is walk in love. And 5:8 is walk in the light. And 5:15 is walk carefully, or walk with wisdom. Be careful how you walk. Be careful how you live. And it goes on and says the way we do this is not by being filled with wine, but being filled with the Spirit. And then it tells you various ways of how to be filled with the Spirit, by singing and making music and praising God. And then, surprisingly, this is a very long sentence in Greek. It goes on, the final way of how you know that you're being filled with the Spirit is that you're submitting to one another. This mutuality is the foundation that then spills over into 3 pairs: husband, wife, parent, child, and master, slave. And this is revolutionary, because in that culture, those weren't mutual relationships, they were hierarchical relationships. And Paul is changing that so that we care for each other and we recognize the value of each individual, and we break down the dividing walls. Paul uses languages of his culture, Greek and Roman law, even Jewish laws, extra biblical laws, rabbinic laws, had requirements for the husband, father, master, and others for the wife, the children, and the slave. But Paul levels the playing field here in an amazing way.